Ding. The elevator doors slide open, and I step out into the colorless hallway. I will myself to move forward, but I don't make it very far before I am doubled over, crying uncontrollably. I can hardly breathe. I have just admitted my 16-year-old daughter, Bronwyn, to CAPE, the Child and Adolescent Inpatient Program at Grand River Hospital. My child, the one who made me a mother, is in the psych ward. Bronwyn was born on a rainy Monday in July at 9:44 a.m. I was chained to the bed with a catheter for most of her labor. Vomit splattered my gown and stuck in my hair, and liters of fluid streamed down my legs and dripped off my toes. "What is happening?" I had wailed. I had pored over every word of the pregnancy Bible, what to expect when you're expecting, and those chapters hadn't been there. I wondered, what else had it and my extensive library of motherhood bestsellers left out? I would soon find out. At 12 months of age, Bronwyn went to daycare, and she was neither walking nor talking. Nothing wrong with that, I told myself. Every child develops at their own rate. And as she was my first, I had no other standard to measure her by. It wasn't long before the daycare staff introduced me to the Nipissing screen, a tool used to measure a child's development. It assessed things like speech and language, as well as emotional and cognitive functioning. Bronwyn's first screen suggested that she was developmentally delayed. And I remember standing at my locker telling my coworker what I had been told, developmentally delayed. What do they know, she'd spat. Every child develops at their own rate. And so we continued on until Bronwyn's second screen revealed that she was also cognitively delayed. It was now time to seek medical expertise. It's 2013. My husband, Jason, and I are poised on the leather couch in the psychologist's windowless office. We were anxiously awaiting the results of a series of tests that Bronwyn, now 6 years old, had undergone in the previous weeks. We needed an explanation for her delays, and we were confident that the woman seated across from us with the black curly hair and the unnaturally blue eyes had the answer. She looked down at her notes, she looked back up at us, and she said matter-of-factly, "Bronwyn has autism." I don't remember much of what she said after that. What I do remember is that I was holding Jason's hand far too tightly, and I remember that I did not want anyone to see me cry. We had asked for an answer, and an answer we had been given. It just wasn't the one that we had wanted. And how do you explain to a 6-year-old that they're neurodivergent, a term the psychologist had used and one that I had had to Google? "Bronwyn," I managed to choke out one night at dinner, "how your mind thinks and how your body acts are sometimes different from those around you. It's called autism. Yes, it makes you different, but you must remember that you are never less." Post-autism diagnosis, specialist appointments were the norm. And once again, we found ourselves back at our steely-eyed pediatrician's office. All of the degrees on the wall suggested that he was educated, but when he spoke, all I heard was ignorance. Arms crossed, stethoscope slung around his neck, he pinned me with a look and he warned, "Prepare yourself, Monica. Bronwyn may never go to high school." It is important, however, that children like her be in a regular classroom so that the parents of normal children can see how good they have it. Contrary to what the pediatrician predicted, Bronwyn did go to high school. And in consultation with members of the school board, we did not enroll her in regular programming. Instead, we enrolled her in ACE. ACE focuses on life skills. It is a non-credit program, and you therefore do not earn a diploma, but rather you earn a certificate of accomplishment. As Bronwyn progressed through grades 9 and 10, she was increasingly resentful of and angry of her placement in ACE. She did not want to just learn life skills. She wanted a diploma. 15-year-old Bronwyn was angry. And one day she called down from the top of the stairs and said, "Why didn't they let me try?" And I knew exactly what she was referring to. Why hadn't they let her start grade 9 in mainstream, which is what she called everyone outside of her program? Why hadn't they let her try to earn course credits? And what I had to explain to Bronwyn is that the they she referred to was me. I, her mother, I am the one that made the decision with the education consultant to place her in the ACE program. I am the one who ultimately denied her the chance to earn a diploma. I was supposed to be her advocate. When the world was placing limitations on her and telling her no at every turn, I was supposed to be her advocate. And now she wanted to know why I had not been that for her when it came to her education. To say, "I tried," sounded small and inadequate. I felt like I had underestimated her, like I had sold her short. I felt like I had betrayed her. I felt like a failure. 16-year-old Bronwyn was even more mad. And one day she said, "I hate myself, and I hate that I have autism. Dying is beautiful, and death would be better than living." Prior to that outburst, Bronwyn's classroom teacher had called me. "Monica, I'm concerned about Bronwyn. She's been acting out of character," and I could hear the alarm in his voice. "I'm also obligated to tell you that a fellow student said that I should look at the fingers on Bronwyn's left hand. The tips of all 5 of them had to be bandaged. Monica, she's burning herself." So one Sunday, my gut told me that I should make her pull up the sleeves of her blue Muskoka hoodie and show me her arms. She repeatedly resisted, and I repeatedly insisted, until finally she conceded. From elbow to wrist, fresh, angry red gashes marred her skin. She had been cutting herself. It was once again time to seek medical expertise. So from our doctor's office to the waiting room at Grand River Hospital, it didn't take long for medical personnel to determine that she was a threat to herself. They advised me that as soon as a bed became available, Bronwyn would be admitted to CAPE. My child, the one who had made me a mother, would be in the psych ward. Jason and I were beyond anxious the day that we were supposed to meet with the psychiatrist who had been assigned to Bronwyn's case. But as we sat in the private meeting room across the round table from Dr. Wahid, the words he spoke immediately put our minds at ease. And they were these 7 most beautiful words I had ever heard. This girl does not want to die. And then he started to talk about circles. He drew a circle around his body, and the essence of what he said was that Bronwyn needed to focus on her circle, on her dreams, on her goals, on her accomplishments. When she tried to jump beyond her circle and compared herself to others, for example, mainstream, therein is where the problems lay. I asked Bronwyn what she took Dr. Wahid's words to mean, and this is what she said. I cannot control what happens outside of my circle. I can only control what happens in my circle. It turns out that I needed to look inside of my circle too. And when I did, I realized 5 truths. 1, I have loved Bronwyn since she was 2 pink lines on a home pregnancy test. 2, I am not a failure. Every decision that I ever made for Bronwyn was with her best interest at heart. 3, in motherhood, there is beauty and there is tragedy, and I have known both. 4, just because you love someone with your whole being, it doesn't mean that you can ease their pain, but it may be the reason that they fight to live another day. And 5, and most importantly, at this moment, Bronwyn is happy. Ding. The elevator doors slide open, and we step into the hallway. And for the first time, I see that it is not colorless. Bronwyn and I move forward, and we keep moving forward until the restraints of Grand River Hospital are far behind us, and the world with its endless possibilities lies in front of us. We're going home.